How often have we heard the story of the burning bush? Perhaps you heard it at school or in Sunday school or junior church. Many of us will probably be familiar with the basic plot. Yet, hearing it again now, in these difficult times, perhaps it is the assurance God hears our sufferings that is what we need most from this reading, rather than a familiar story. If on our next walk outside we saw what Moses did and heard of similar promise, would we rejoice? Yet God is telling us to do that without flames amidst our shrubberies. The reading from Romans tells us, rejoice in hope, be patient in suffering, persevere in prayer. In difficult moments, that is enough. To ask someone to get through these times. What is astonishing is it can be sufficient if we will let it be. Not that we are ever alone. Listening to what God tells us in our despair is often the hardest thing. Why did God have to burn a bush so that it would keep burning until Moses noticed it? Moses was in the depths of despair. We don't like to listen in our despair to anything of hope. Much of the duty of a Christian is to help one another out of our wallowing, to share our own grief's lessons with those who are in the midst of learning them. We should weep with those who weep, yes, and yet more than this, we should pass the tissues and try and help them through. At present, we are much minded to think of all that is wrong in our lives, of those dear to us being taken from us or at risk of so being taken. Take thought, though, of all that is not awful, even in our present miseries, for there is much goodness on show than that the burning bush each and every day. If we would but see it. It may be hard to see, yet that is why God gives us such lights. If we light a candle in a dark room, an experiment I recommend, you will marvel at how much a small light can reveal. So how much more can a burning bush light up? Yet more than this, the light of God is alive in every Christian this very day, and it burns even brighter than the sun itself. If you doubt this, take the Roman passage and think of an example of each verse, 1 or 2 a day. This week, you will see soon much light, more than comes in at your windows in the bright summer days. Do not let evil sit in the world overpower you. Leave such to the Lord. He will deal with the evil people, turning them to good. Focus instead on the good that you can do. For if we all do what we can, that is quite enough to make the world a very different place. If we dwell on evil, we will be overwhelmed. Yet, instead of decrying all that is wrong, let us concentrate on doing good. If we spend our time doing our bit of good, we do far more than all the hand-wringing in history ever accomplished. Do not let yourself think yourself weak. You have prayer. You have the good you can do for others with your God-given abilities. That is quite enough to overcome a lot of evil of other folk. If you would but set to it with a will. Thus, the true Christian does not just hold on to what is good in theory. We do good in practice. For we are not true Christians, are we? All of us? The true Christian does not just hold to what is good in theory. We do good in practice. Amen.